the beast that broke the stars. The sky over Velker Prime burned green as the atmosphere tore apart. What had once been a paradise world, emerald jungles, crystal rivers, soaring cities, was now nothing more than a feeding ground. From the cloud descended shapes too large to comprehend, living mountains of flesh, claw, and spiked bone. The Ravagers. They fell upon cities like a storm of nightmares, tearing through shield walls, feasting on fleeing civilians, and shattering the fleets that dared rise against them. Each beast was unique. Some crawled on hundreds of limbs. Others flew with wings made of armored chitin that shimmered like molten metal. They learned fast. Every energy weapon, every tactic used against them was countered within hours. The Galactic Council, in their floating citadel above the core worlds, watched helplessly. "This is extinction," hissed the Valari delegate, a feathered serpent whose scales dimmed with fear. "Velker Prime is lost. The Ravagers will spread." "They've already spread," roared the Bracken general, pounding a massive claw against the table. "3 systems gone in a week." A trembling voice from the back asked the question everyone feared to answer. What force could stop them? Silence followed. Then, a static-laced transmission cut through the Council's broadcast feed, sharp, human, uninvited. A woman's voice, calm but edged with iron. "This is Commander Juno Kane of the Terran Beast Corps. We're en route to Velker Prime. Hold your line if you can. If not, get out of our way." The Council chambers erupted in chaos. "The humans," someone gasped. "They can't possibly. They'll die." But Juno's voice came again, cutting through the noise. "We don't run from monsters. We hunt them." Outpost Chimera, lunar base, Earth system. Beneath the cold light of Earth's moon, a massive hangar thrummed with energy. Rows of armored soldiers stood in formation, their exosuits glimmering with faint orange light. Each one bore scars, gouges, burn marks, claw etchings, like trophies of past hunts. These were the Beast Hunters, an elite corps born from the Terran Federation's darkest wars. Veterans of environments no other species survived. Frozen worlds, acid storms, zero-atmosphere combat zones. They had learned long ago that humanity's greatest weapon wasn't its technology. It was its refusal to die. Commander Juno Kane stood before them, helmet tucked under her arm. Her face was marked by old scars, her expression unreadable but steady. Behind her, holograms displayed the Ravager incursions, planets falling like dominoes across the spiral arm. "Listen up," she said, voice echoing through the chamber. "The rest of the galaxy's running scared. I don't blame them. These things eat stars for breakfast." A low murmur of laughter rippled through the ranks. "But we're not here to hide. We're here to remind the universe of one truth." She turned, pointing to the burning map. "If it bleeds, it can die." The troops roared in agreement, a thunderous echo that shook the walls. Juno continued. "Intel calls them Ravagers, biological weapons, self-evolving predators. The aliens think they're unstoppable. They haven't met us yet. We dissected them. We know their muscle fibers, their neural patterns, their weak points. They're not gods. They're animals. And we're the top of the food chain." Beside her, Lieutenant Rex Talon, a giant of a man in battle-worn armor, grinned. "You heard the boss. Pack your trophies, boys. We're going hunting." Aboard the dreadnought Erebus Fawn. Hours later, the fleet cut through slipspace toward Velker Prime. The soldiers checked weapons and armor in grim silence. Private Mirasolin, the youngest of the squad, stared at her rifle, a sleek weapon with adaptive targeting modules. Her hands trembled slightly. Rex noticed. "First deployment?" She nodded. "Yes, sir. I've read the reports. These things, they can smell fear." Rex chuckled, a sound more like gravel grinding than laughter. "Good thing we stopped using fear a long time ago." When the drop alarms blared, the ship's hull split open, revealing the burning planet below. Rivers of molten glass streaked across the surface. Massive shadows moved beneath the clouds. Juno's voice came through comms. "All units, this is a clean hunt. Mark your zones, synchronize your shots, and don't waste ammo. Remember, fear feeds them. Fight smart." The drop pods fired, streaking toward the chaos below like falling stars. Velker Prime, Ground Zero. The first impact shook the forest to splinters. Juno's team emerged through smoke and flame, their armor systems adapting instantly to the atmosphere's toxins. A Ravager roared in the distance, deep and low, like thunder wrapped in hunger. "Contact ahead," Rex said, scanning with his visor. "Size big." "Good," Juno replied. "Let's make an entrance." Through the haze, the creature appeared, a towering monstrosity, six-legged, plated in living metal, its mouth glowing with internal fire. Alien survivors screamed and fled. The humans charged. Mira fired first, plasma bolts hammering into the creature's side. It roared and lunged, but the humans didn't retreat. Juno leapt onto its limb, driving a seismic blade into its joint. Rex unleashed a rail cannon blast straight into its skull. The beast convulsed, howled, then collapsed in a storm of dust and blood. Juno stood atop the carcass, raising her blade. Target neutralized. The alien commander of Velker Prime stared in disbelief. "You killed it." Juno turned, wiping blood from her visor. "No," she said. "We hunted it." That night, as fires burned across the horizon, the human comms carried one message to every listening world. Operation Apex is live. The beasts that broke the stars are not invincible. The hunt begins. And for the first time in centuries, the galaxy's predators felt what it meant to be prey. The first hunt. Velker Prime was no longer a planet. It was a graveyard. The once-breathing jungles now burned with chemical fire. Great shadows circled above, blotting out the sun as the Ravagers regrouped. The humans had landed, killed one of the beasts within minutes, and now the rest were coming. For Commander Juno Kane and her unit, that was the plan. Let them come. The trap. The Beast Corps worked with terrifying efficiency. In a crater that had once been a trade city, humans deployed sonic emitters, thermal decoys, and proximity mines. Dozens of sleek drones darted overhead, scanning every movement, mapping heat signatures, and luring targets with rhythmic pulses designed to mimic prey distress calls. Lieutenant Rex Talon stood on a ridge, visor glowing red in the smoke. 5 Ravagers inbound from the north. "Big ones. You sure this will hold, Commander?" Juno checked the readings on her wrist display. "It doesn't have to hold. It just has to hurt." Music to my ears. The ground began to quake. Trees bent. The air filled with the sound of grinding, metallic screeches as the beasts tore through the ruins. Vast amalgamations of flesh and armor, each one a mobile fortress. Targets entering grid. Myra's voice came through comms. "They're splitting up." Juno smiled grimly. "Then they've already made their first mistake." At her signal, the emitters activated. A blinding pulse of light flared, and the air vibrated with a deep sonic hum. The beasts roared, confused, and in that moment of hesitation, the mines detonated. The shockwave ripped through the valley. Fire and dust engulfed everything. Limbs and bone shards rained from the sky. When the smoke cleared, one Ravager still stood, its hide smoking, half of its jaw missing, but alive. It turned its blood-red eyes toward Juno. She stepped forward, unsheathing her seismic blade. "That one's mine." The kill. The creature charged, shaking the earth with each stride. Juno sprinted to meet it, her armor amplifying her movements tenfold. She ducked under a claw the size of a hover tank, leaping onto its back in a blur of motion. Her suit's servos screamed as she drove the blade deep into the creature's spine. The weapon vibrated at molecular frequency, slicing through organic armor like molten glass. "Juno, you've got 3 more closing in." Rex shouted. "I know." She grunted, wrenching her blade free. Blood, thick, glowing, splashed across her armor. That's the fun part. The wounded Ravager collapsed, its death throes shaking the ridge. Juno turned, eyes blazing behind her visor. The others emerged, faster, smarter, their forms shifting as their bodies adapted to new threats. The humans watched with fascination, not fear. Rex grinned. "Look at that. They're learning." Juno reloaded her weapon. Then let's give them more to learn. Myra's test. Farther south, Private Mirasolan's squad had been pinned near a collapsed transport. A Ravager drone swarm, small flying horrors with razor wings, tore through the wreckage like a living storm. Myra's rifle overheated. She ducked, shielding her face as sparks flew. Around her, her teammates fell silent one by one. No screams, just static over comms. She swallowed hard, adrenaline burning in her chest. Don't freeze. Don't freeze. She activated her wrist console and rerouted power to her armor's magnetic field. Her suit hummed as she leapt from cover, firing a burst of EMP rounds into the heart of the swarm. The drones faltered, wings twitching, and fell from the sky like dead insects. Nice shot, rookie. Rex's voice boomed over comms. You're earning your claws. Thanks, she panted. But they're regrouping. Before she could finish, the ground split open and another Ravager burst through, serpentine, black, and roaring. Mira didn't hesitate. She set her rifle to overload, jammed it into the creature's gaping mouth, and dove aside. The explosion tore the beast's skull apart. Silence followed. Mira stood slowly, panting, her armor scorched. Target down. Juno's voice came through, cool and composed. Confirmed kill, Solon. Welcome to the hunt. The alien observers. Far above Velker Prime, aboard a Galactic Council dreadnought, dozens of species watched the live feeds in horrified awe. The Valari ambassador's scales flickered nervously. They're fighting them head-on. No fleet support, no orbital strikes. Just infantry and blades. The Bracken general grunted. Madness. Not madness, corrected a cold voice. Admiral Vexen of the Council Fleet. Instinct. He pointed at the human feed, showing Juno standing atop a Ravager corpse, her armor drenched in glowing blood. They've been predators on their own world for millennia. Every creature they ever feared, they killed. Every environment that tried to kill them, they conquered. These aren't soldiers. They are hunters. The room fell silent. One delegate whispered, almost reverently, and now they're hunting for us all. The aftermath. When the last Ravager fell, the humans began collecting samples. Flesh, bone, brain matter, all cataloged, scanned, and stored. Rex approached Juno, shaking his head. You realize they're adapting faster each wave? Sooner or later, we'll hit one we can't kill. Juno looked toward the horizon, where the next storm of beasts was already forming. Then we'll adapt faster, she said. That's what makes us human. The comms crackled, a distress call from another world. The Ravagers were spreading. Juno turned to her team. Pack up. The hunt moves to Tarion 4. Mira blinked. Already? We just landed. Rex smirked. Kid, hunts don't end. They evolve. The soldiers boarded the Erebus Fong once more, leaving behind a burning world, but also a message transmitted to every system that still had ears to hear. The Beast Core is active. The galaxy is not alone. Wherever monsters rise, humans will follow. The hunt expands. The galaxy burned. From the frozen moons of Tarion 4 to the jungles of Rekara, the Ravagers spread like a plague, but wherever they struck, a new pattern emerged. The death tolls fell. The beasts began to die faster. Their nests were purged in hours, not weeks. And always on the wrecked planets, the same sigil remained. A crimson wolf's head branded onto charred stone. The mark of the Beast Core. The next battlefield. The transport Erebus Fong sliced through the atmosphere of Tarion 4, its black hull glowing red from entry. Inside, Commander Juno Kane stood before her troops, holographic map flickering beside her. Intel says this world was hit 2 days ago. The Ravagers tunneled into the subcrust and started breeding. They've already consumed 2 settlements. Rex leaned against the bulkhead, chewing on a stim stick. So what's the catch? We blow the tunnels and torch what's left. Not this time, Juno replied, zooming in on the map. We're going down there. Command wants a live specimen. Groans echoed through the troop bay. Mira frowned. A live Ravager? Why? We've got enough corpses to fill a museum. Juno's expression darkened. Because someone's been controlling them. Silence fell. The hum of the dropship filled the void. Controlling? Rex finally said. You're saying these monsters aren't acting alone? Command intercepted signal bursts before each wave. Coordinated frequencies. Something intelligent is calling the shots. Mira whispered, and we're walking right into it. Juno met her gaze. That's what hunters do. Descent into darkness. The beast core descended through the tunnels, black shafts carved by claws the size of human torsos. Heat sensors went wild, detecting movement everywhere. The smell of decay choked the air. Rex's voice echoed through calms. These things breed fast. There's no way a natural species could evolve like this. Exactly, Juno muttered. They're engineered. At the front, Mira scanned the wall. Embedded in the rock were strange metallic growths, pulsing faintly. She touched one with her glove. It twitched. Biotech interface, she reported. Not natural at all. Before Juno could reply, the ground collapsed beneath them. The squad fell into a cavern, vast and glowing with organic light. At the center was a pulsating cocoon, the size of a shuttle, cables running from it deep into the rock. Juno's sensor spiked. That's the source. The cocoon opened. The hive mind. From within emerged a creature unlike any they had faced before. Slender, bipedal, armored in obsidian plates. Its face was hidden behind a shimmering mask of bone. It spoke, not in words, but directly into their minds. Humans, the aberration, the anomaly. Mira clutched her helmet, gasping. It's inside my head. Juno drew her seismic blade, standing firm. Identify yourself. I'm the architect, the one who births the swarm. You should not exist. Rex growled. Yeah, we get that a lot. The architect stepped forward, studying them like a scientist inspecting a virus. You kill what you cannot control. You consume what you cannot understand. Your kind does not belong in this galaxy. Juno smiled grimly. Funny, we were about to say the same to you. The Ravagers poured from the walls. Dozens, hundreds, eyes glowing red. Whole formation, Juno shouted. EMP grid now. The humans slammed down portable generators, forming a crackling dome of blue energy. The first wave hit, claws scraping against shields, acid spitting across armor. The humans moved like a single machine. Rex's autocannon tore through a wall of flesh. Myra's plasma drones sliced through wings. Juno leapt into the fray, carving down anything that moved. Still, the swarm pressed closer. Grids failing. Mira yelled, "Too many." Then we cut the head off, Juno said, eyes locked on the architect. Cover me. The duel. Juno charged through the chaos, dodging claws and acid. The architect raised a hand. Energy lanced from its palm, slamming her backward into the rock. Her armor cracked. Systems flickered, but she got up. That all you got? She hissed. She lunged. The seismic blade met the architect's staff in a flash of light. Sparks and plasma filled the air as they clashed again and again, speed and strength pushing human limits. You are stubborn, human, the creature said, its voice echoing inside her mind. You cannot win. Juno gritted her teeth. We don't win. We survive. She fainted, then slammed the blade into the creature's chest, activating the seismic pulse. The explosion ripped through the chamber, sending shockwaves across the hive. The architect fell, its form disintegrating into ash and black mist. The Ravagers froze mid-charge, then collapsed like puppets with cut strings. The silence afterward was deafening. Revelation. Rex limped to Juno's side. You just killed their god. Mira was scanning the remains. Commander, you need to see this. From the ashes of the architect, a small device pulsed faintly, a cube covered in alien script. Juno picked it up, frowning. Data storage. Looks like coordinates. To where? Mira asked. Juno stared at the pulsing lights. Home. The council reacts. Hours later, aboard a Galactic Council observation ship, chaos erupted. The council delegates argued, shouted, panicked. The humans provoked the hive. They'll bring the swarm to our worlds. Admiral Vexen stood apart, watching the hollow feed of Juno holding the cube. His mandibles clicked softly. No, they've found the truth. What truth? demanded the Valari ambassador. That the Ravagers weren't invaders. They were tools. The chamber fell silent. Tools of something older, Vexen continued. Something that fears humanity's rise. The promise. Back aboard the Erebus Fong, Juno looked out at the stars, the cube glowing in her hand. Rex joined her. You really plan to follow it? She nodded. The architect wasn't the end. It was a message. Someone made these things to control the galaxy, to keep species in fear. Mira stepped forward, face pale but resolute. So we hunt the ones behind the monsters. Juno smiled faintly. Exactly. The real hunt begins now. Outside, the stars stretched infinitely, dark, silent, waiting. And humanity, the galaxy's new predators, set their course toward the heart of the storm, the source of the beasts. The Erebus Fong drifted through the black, silent gulf between galaxies. The coordinates from the architect's cube pulsed steadily on screen, a trail of light leading beyond known space, into a region no vessel had ever returned from. The crew had stopped speaking hours ago. There was only the hum of engines and the weight of the unknown pressing down on every soul aboard. Commander Juno Kane stood at the observation deck, eyes fixed on the shimmering abyss ahead. It wasn't just space, it was something else. The void rippled, like fabric disturbed by an unseen wind. Rex stepped up beside her. You sure about this, Commander? Even the NAV AI's nervous. Juno didn't answer. Her hand tightened on the railing. If someone built the Ravagers, they're hiding here. We find them, we end this. Myra's voice came through the comms. Jump sequence ready. On your mark. Juno gave one final nod. Do it. The stars vanished. Arrival. When a ship dropped out of warp, every sensor went haywire. A massive structure hung before them. Not a planet, not a station, but something in between. A hollow sphere the size of a moon, carved from black metal that pulsed like flesh. Energy tendrils drifted from its surface, absorbing nearby asteroids like a living organism. Myra's voice trembled. I'm reading biosigns, trillions of them. The whole sphere's alive. Rex spat. We found the nest. Juno watched the structure rotate slowly, revealing colossal gates inscribed with alien symbols. Prepare for descent. This is where the beasts were born. The ship approached cautiously, weapons hot. The gates opened without a sound. A corridor of light extended inward. An invitation or a trap. Juno smirked. They want to meet their hunters. The core of creation. Inside, the walls pulsed with rhythmic energy, veins of light flowing like blood. Strange forms floated in stasis. Embryonic Ravagers of every shape and size, suspended in vats of translucent gel. Mira whispered, This is a factory. Not just a factory, Juno said. A womb. As they advanced deeper, a voice echoed through the corridor. Smooth, calm, ancient. You should not have come here, humans. Juno raised her weapon. Show yourself. The light coalesced ahead of them into a figure, tall, humanoid, robed in living light. Its face was hidden behind a mask of liquid gold. We are the founders, it said. We seeded life across the stars, built the Ravagers to cull the unworthy. You, however, you are an error. Rex barked a laugh. An error that keeps killing your pets. The founder's voice deepened. You were meant to burn yourselves out. Instead, you became predators. You do not fit the design. Juno stepped forward, eyes blazing. Then your design's broken, and we're here to end it. The revelation. The founder raised a hand. The walls around them shifted, projecting vast holograms. Entire galaxies under its control, species harvested, civilizations erased. We built order through fear. The Ravagers were balance incarnate. But your kind, violent, defiant, unyielding, threatens that order. Fear keeps others on their knees, Juno said. We learned to stand. The founder tilted its head. And yet, standing makes you dangerous. Damn right. With a gesture, the founder unleashed energy tendrils from walls. The floor cracked, revealing pools of molten biometal. From within rose new beasts, sleek, advanced, perfect. The apex Ravagers. Rex's armor sealed with a hiss. Finally, Something worth shooting. Juno drew her seismic blade. Mira, link all our drones to my command. We turned their creation against them. The final hunt. The battle erupted like a storm. Plasma fire lit the chamber as the apex Ravagers swarmed. Drones exploded in bursts of light. The air turned into molten chaos. Juno led from the front, cutting through monsters twice her size, blade humming with seismic fury. Rex's cannons roared, shredding wings and armor alike. Mira coordinated the drones, hacking into the facility's systems mid-fight. "Commander," she shouted, "if I can breach their core, I can shut this whole place down permanently." "Do it," Juno replied, driving her blade through a beast's skull. The Founder's voice thundered across the chamber. "You cannot destroy perfection." Juno snarled. "Perfection's boring." The Founder descended into the melee, wielding tendrils of pure energy. Juno met it head-on. The two collided in an explosion that cracked the chamber ceiling. Their fight was primal, predator versus god. Each strike shook the world around them. "Why fight?" the Founder demanded. "You could rule beside us." Juno grinned through blood and smoke. "We don't rule." She plunged the blade deep into its chest. "We hunt." The seismic pulse detonated, shattering the Founder's core. Light burst from its body, consuming everything. The collapse. System meltdown. Mira yelled. "We got 30 seconds before the whole sphere goes critical." "Everyone fall back," Juno ordered. The Erebus Fong locked onto them with emergency teleport beacons. One by one, the soldiers vanished in flashes of blue light. Juno was the last. She stayed long enough to watch the core implode. As she dematerialized, she whispered, "Hunt's over." Epilogue. The New Order. Weeks later, across the galaxy, reports spread like wildfire. The Ravagers were gone. Their hive silent. Their world's dead. On the council station, Admiral Vexen addressed the assembly. The human beast core entered forbidden space and annihilated the source. The threat is ended, but so is the illusion that fear keeps us safe. The chamber murmured with unease. Vexen continued. The galaxy owes its survival to the one species we feared most. Outside the station, the Erebus Fong hovered quietly, its hull etched with new markings. Every hunt, every world, every victory. Inside, Mira stood beside Juno. "We actually did it. The beasts are gone." Juno nodded slowly. "For now. But the galaxy's full of monsters, some with claws, some with crowns." Rex grinned. "Then we'll keep hunting." Juno turned toward the stars, her reflection gleaming against the viewport. "Fearless humans," she said softly. "The galaxy's beast hunters." The engines ignited, and the ship vanished into the darkness, chasing whatever nightmare came next.